That's a conversation I like to have.
Ready? You ready? Can you answer the stuff I asked for?
I can answer anything you want, man.
We're talking about drones. When you think about a drone, what do you think about? It's those flying things, right? Maybe it is, but it's a lot more than that. I love the name of the company, DreamHammer. The CEO is joining us. We'll find out exactly where drones are going. So Nelson, DreamHammer is, again, you can't tell me it's a top secret name. I know you have to kill me if you tell me. You focus on the inner workings of the drones, and this is the OS, basically, the operating system, right?
That's correct.
I'm going to ask a ton of simple questions real quick, okay?
Sure.
These drones that you mentioned earlier, because your company focuses on making drone technology accessible.
That's correct.
You mentioned drones eventually be helping us build buildings, washing windows, doing a lot of manual tasks.
Yes.
How far in the future is that?
Well, we have the capability today.
But the technology might exist, but the expense doesn't really.
No, actually, so here's the fallacy of everything. If it's in the hands of the government right now, they're very focused on very specific requirements in order for them to be able to meet some sort of capability they're trying to do. The commercial world doesn't have that problem. As long as there's capital money, there's entrepreneurs out there.
There is.
The taco copter, the burrito bomber, these guys will start coming out. I mean, it seems almost gimmicky right now, but the reality is the technology is there. I mean, we could be, painting buildings right now with drones.
I saw an amazing video the other day with a GoPro right over in Santa Cruz, a bunch of surfers, and the drone was just following. It looked amazing, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And right now, that's still a cool thing.
Right. That's like Apple trying to predict what apps are going to be made on iPhone.
Oh, you're saying it's that wide open?
It's that wide open.
But we're just talking about a flying device.
No, it's not just a flying device.
Okay, what is it?
So we call it, in the industry, we call it unmanned systems. So it could be anything from a satellite to a UAV, which we call drones in the public. Ground vehicles, Google Car.
Oh, okay, that's a drone.
Surface ships and subsurface ships.
Okay, a drone is anything unmanned, basically.
Well, a drone is typically called a UAV, an unmanned aerial vehicle, to the public. But an unmanned system is anything that's pilotless. There's nobody in it.
Okay.
It has autonomous behaviors. We call it the technical term.
And these drones, especially the ones, let's say, over Afghanistan, Iraq, they're actually flown out of Nevada.
That's a good question. So there's two types of drones. So it's a little education for the audience.
Yeah,
for you.
please.
There is what we call remotely piloted aircraft, and that's really used for the purposes of weapon systems, right? Like the Predator, for example, that's used by the military and intelligence community. Those are a remotely piloted vehicle, and there's actually pilots sitting in Creech or other places, and they're controlling it via satellite at a remote destination. But there's someone behind the wheel flying it, if you will, right?
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
But there's just no pilot actually in the vehicle itself, because they're being installed being done remotely. So obviously there's redundancy and stuff. We can do that with commercial airlines, for example. But what we're focusing on in DreamHammer is the future of autonomy and artificial intelligence, where we see that happening very quickly in the technology world, and the step between here and there is just automation, if you will. So having a software like ours that's very intelligent can talk to multiple different types of systems at the same time to do a function together. So right now, those vehicles out in Afghanistan are looking for targets or something like that, and they send that information back to the United States for them to use for purposes of, for example, finding somebody or finding something. We see it as precision agriculture. We see it as fighting wildfires, where a satellite is looking for areas of interest, and as soon as it sees some sort of infrared camera, it sees some sort of issue happening somewhere, it immediately sends a drone with fire retardants to take that out right away before it gets any bigger, right?
You like this future, right?
That's the future we have today.
And what companies are really extending the bounds of drones?
Well, I'll give you a perfect example. My buddy Jonathan Downey at Airware, hey John, he just got $10.7 million from Andreessen Horowitz and Google Ventures to provide, on-board autonomy for small drones, the Group 1 drones is what we call
Okay, I like that. How about on the commercial, or is it university? Where are you starting to see a lot of those other technologies?
Oh, there's a lot of great universities. Another friend of mine, Missy Cummings, she is works in the Office of Naval Research, an MIT professor, now going to Duke. A whole slew of students
that are in the drone space.
That are in the drone space and the artificial intelligence space. looking for new ways to be able to have that patentable technology capability that can be commercialized. And so what DreamHammer is trying to do is DreamHammer is trying to have the software OS, if you will, so people can build applications on it that can use drones for different things and use it together. That's the missing link that we see at DreamHammer. We've had robots inside auto manufacturers since the 60s, so why aren't they here right now with us taking pictures?